Alright, thought I'd put on a real-time update just so everybody knew I was in fact still alive. Been over a month now back in England, and yeah, boat progress is slow because just waiting for a few things to work out. So to run you through the month fairly quickly, the first 2 weeks was just on the boat, basic normal. What has become a normality is smoke everywhere. A basic normality of, you know, being stuck on a boat with a cupboard full of beans. Yeah, that was the reality for 2 weeks. From there, the wind got pretty bad, and now with the boat being in the middle of an estuary, you've got the tide as well. You can end up in situations where you just can't get off the boat. And there were a couple of instances where I'd gone, well, a couple of instances first where I just couldn't get off the boat full stop. And then a couple of instances where I did try to get off the boat and ended up stuck on the land, which ended up taking a last ditch desperate attempt, rowing like hell in order to get back onto the boat. So anyway, in summary, the 2 weeks after the initial 2 weeks were largely spent stuck either on land or on the boat, but not really productive. So for that reason, I have not been on here for a month. Filming wise and electricity wise as well, slow progress on that front. So electricity wise, I did manage to get hold of a little portable battery. It is frustrating because I have a big EcoFlow Delta 2 sat in France after carrying it around in a suitcase with me, but I couldn't jump on a flight with it. It's the only thing I actually managed to save. So that's not here either, which would be really handy because that thing can power my laptop for a couple of days, really depending on how much I'm using it. But the little power bank, the little portable battery, is a bit of a game changer because if you take that over to the library and can get full power in it, it makes being stranded on the boat a lot easier. So episode wise, that explains why they're not really coming anytime soon, or wasn't going to be coming anytime soon, because actually, maybe tell, I am sat in a cupboard. So, well, I'm not sat in a cupboard, I'm sat in a cabin. And as you all know, I only have one cabin, and that's not, so I'm not on my boat. So something that will be coming up, maybe even before my videos catch up, will be, I guess you could call it a side quest, if you was to call it something, although it's not really a side quest because it's just carrying on with life. But I am aboard a 50-foot ketch, which for the last 7-8 months they've been piecing it together bit by bit, a bit like we was doing over in Marseille and will be doing again. And I've said for a while what I'd like to do with this channel is not just have me, and the reason we went with Ocean Rebels rather than Ocean Rebel was I wanted to tell some of the stories of the people you meet along the way. And not like some of the big channels do where they all tell the same stories about the same people. I'm talking the ones you don't hear about, the cool projects people are doing on boats, and more so the backstory of that too. So how people ended up doing it in a very similar way to the way I'm doing it. You know, it's not, oh, I've got inherited 100 grand and I'm going to go buy a boat and advertise it as how they all get advertised, you know, selling everything I have and buying a boat. No, that's not that, but more people who are on a budget, like real shoestring boats that come for little to no money, you know, them sort of stories. And this one, yeah, I've been aboard for the last week and we have been recording footage, and it's going to be quite cool to get that on here too. So that will be coming up. equally, because I am now on a boat where electricity works, I have been quite busy editing back through what is about a year and a half's worth of videos that never made it on. So just before I started filming this, I was editing the videos from the last boat disaster we was in, and trying to piece the footage together because, you know, phones get broke and all the rest of it. So trying to get back into it because it seems like a real waste not to. And in them first 2 weeks of getting this new boat, it was very much like, yes, right, back into it. But if you have no electricity and you go to the library or wherever to charge your telephone, then the last thing you want to be doing is using that little bit of power you've got, if you don't know if you can go back to land for a bit, on video and stuff. Equally, what that ends up doing too, it kind of slows down the progress because you want to be filming what you're doing. So we film bits, but we haven't done anything major yet. So in terms of that, and to answer a few of your questions from the previous update, somebody did point out, you know, Gosport, however you say it. I'm not familiar with the south of England. I don't know where I am. It took me 2 weeks to even know what the town I was in was called. Yeah, it's one of the most expensive places to have a boat in the UK. Regarding the current place the boat is, well, fitting for this channel, it's a mess, and I will do an episode about that in itself, because you know, you're just trying to make something happen, stick, and you've normally got everything against you. Boats and houses don't really work the same, so when them videos do come out, there'll be quite a lot about, you know, if you find yourself suddenly with nowhere to live, there is a sense that maybe a boat actually is a more kind of desperate but quicker solution if you can get one for nothing, because you don't, with a house, you'd be required to have, you know, a deposit, a down payment, guarantor, all the rest of it, or you take the boat, but then you do end up in a bit of a situation where everyone wants money from you, which you don't have. That said, needed to find a place could put it which was affordable. So where it is, they are trying to, like, they know what they're doing, and they're trying to charge me a day rate, saying that the boat needs a survey. You know, I could look into it. I've looked at their policy. That's not the case. They just don't want it there. Not because of me. This was happening before they'd even seen me. So sometimes people will say, you know, the people who jump on here saying, oh, get a haircut and a shave, and then stuff might not happen to you. They'd not even seen me, so they wasn't aware of what they would be dealing with yet. So yeah, that's a bit of a mess at the minute, but whatever happens with that, I think found a place where I can put it on a mooring wall for 100 per month. The issue I have at the minute is obviously it's going to require the first month's payment, a tow around there, and insurance. And I know, but you can't pay for insurance when you don't have any money, and that's been the case for a while. So that answers the the solution for trying to have a boat here in what is the most expensive part of the UK to own a boat. Other questions, I will say dead quick, what has been really nice is I knew I was going to have to put a video on after what was another crisis, and I didn't put it on for ages because it's like, oh, what are people going to say? So what has been really nice, and I have to say a huge thank you for, is the positive comments I've had, and that's from people who have watched and probably have watched more of the updates, because there's been a real pause in the episodes. And no, there was an 8-month, you know, piecing together a little sailboat from the bins, which then we tried. We was inches away. It didn't work out. I don't know if I've even fully processed it yet. Sometimes I'm sat there and the reality comes in and you're like, yeah, you've probably lost everything. But yeah, as a few people have pointed out, the boat project I now have is actually pretty exciting. So if we get through this part, it should all, you know, if we can get it all together, it's quite good. And yeah, big thank you to everyone who took the time to comment, and especially comment, you know, nicely. I'm sure some people probably want to go, oh, man, again, like, but I've said before, until I actually can put them episodes which really explain what was happening at the wall, I'm not trying to keep everyone guessing or trying to mask something. I just didn't really want to say it while I might have had to have gone back and still tried to move that boat, because yeah, it was a bit of a scary situation. I'm not talking about hitting a wall, I'm talking about being stuck on the wall. But yeah, it was very nice to hear everyone's kind words regarding that, and I am looking forward to getting videos back on. It is a bit of a case of trying to get back on my feet. There's actually a bunch of videos already on YouTube which just haven't been put on yet, because somebody else commented saying the time frame is all over the place. And it is, you want to come on, put a video, let everyone know what you're doing, but equally that then misses out a large chunk of what's happened, and it kind of throws the time frame off. So I think what I'm going to try do is just not even spend ages editing them, just get all the videos from before and the footage all on. I might just post one a day if I can start to catch up, get them all on, get up to date, and then go from there. So I am still actively recording everything, most of the things I'm doing, and there will be, as I've said already, starting soon, a bit like some of the other channels do it, where you've got the weekly episode, but then also like once a week maybe would be classed as like a podcast, where you just I'm picking something that's happened in the past and just explaining it a bit more like I'm doing here. So that will, yeah, that's the plan with that. I am now waffling, so I'm going to go. I'm just going to, did I need to tell you all anything else? Probably not, but yeah, I'm doing alright, like, considering all things. And yeah, I guess that's an interesting story in itself, that all that can happen, and we're on the other side, kind of, you know. So fingers crossed soon some of the financial bits sort out, and we can start to, you know, not just be surviving, but start to get going, because I do want to be back, that's the other thing, back in the Mediterranean, you know. I don't have any long-term plans of, I want to name drop any channels, but the rest of my life in the UK, this is in and out as quickly as possible, but we've got to do some big jobs in order to do that. But hopefully, I'm talking as soon as possible, a month in the shipyard, fix the big things, and potentially, I've already got a few people who want to come and crew on the trip, and potentially in convoy, which will be exciting. So stay tuned, and I'll see you next time.